You listen to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
Oh, beautiful, man. What is up, people? Welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast, episode number 134, coming to you on the heels of, yet again, another busy combat sports weekend. I am Matthew Wells. Alongside me, as always, Kendrick Johnson. We were both in attendance for the main event of the weekend. Mikey Garcia, Jesse Vargas, hell of a fight.
Mexican style in Texas.
We're going to break that down for you guys and our experience here in just a second. On today's show, we have Miss Joy Taylor, one of the best media members, journalists, personalities, however you want to categorize her.
In the world
you know who she is. Seen her on FS1, Colin Cowherd show, Skip and Shannon. She's a little bit all over the place. Got her own podcast, things going like that. Just a fantastic person and a really great interview chat that we have with her coming up in just a few minutes. And of course, Neil Magny is returning to action at UFC 248, and he returns.
Layoff.
Yes, very long time. 2018, the end of 2018 was when he last fought against Ponzinibbio. He's coming back against Li Jingliang. And
he got me on that. I don't know how to pronounce that one.
Yeah, so we talked to Neil about that and everything else going on in his life, like fatherhood, for example. But yeah, we'll get into all that in just a minute. So let's talk about the fight, man. Let's talk about it. Mikey Garcia went out there and put on a hell of a fight, man. It was a pretty entertaining show. What was your take? We both had different perspectives, literally on the fight.
I had Mikey winning. But this notion that he's ready to fight Manny Pacquiao is crazy. He's not a 147-pounder. Mike can get away with it because Manny Pacquiao is not a 147-pounder. So it might actually be a good fight, but to me, he did what he had to do. He used his experience he learned against Errol Spence to show you how much of a good pure fighter he is, made adjustments in. Jesse Vargas, it's not like he fought a bad fight. It's just like he didn't come in as prepared. Like he gassed in spurts. And every time he gassed, Mikey made him pay like he did when he made him take that seat in the 5th round. That was a fatigue knockdown because he let off the gas and Mikey said boom, boom, and he couldn't catch his breath. It wasn't like he just got hit hard. He got hit hard, way harder later in the 9th to 10th round. He stayed up. So I think Jesse Vargas just didn't prepare well enough, and he took that L because of it.
Yeah, no.
He fought a good fight. Just he didn't do what he had to do before the fight to win the fight.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm actually seeing like video of it because when we were there, I was thinking like because I was actually ringside doing photography, and I noticed like while I was shooting, I was like the lighting in here sucks in the Ford Center, and like I thought it was just like some of my images. No, like the video right there, you could tell the lighting sucks in there. So Jerry, get on fixing the lighting inside the Ford Center for boxing events. But yeah, I was ringside doing photography. Some of my shots I got right here up on the screen for you guys. It was a pretty interesting thing because like when Jesse did get knocked down, like immediately like he smiled. Like it was just like one of those things. Like it wasn't like he was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt.
It wasn't a hurt thing. Like yeah, it was like all right, I got to take a seat for a second. Took the 8, got right back up, ready to go, and then came right back out, started firing again. So like we could tell it was like one of those things where it's like, damn, that was a good shot. All right, let me gather myself again real quick. But I thought it was a pretty entertaining fight. Through and through though, there wasn't any dull action per se, but Mikey was the winner. I mean, in my eyes, I don't think there was any controversy.
It was yeah, about 116, that about 116, 111, 112. That's about where it ranged at.
Yeah, it was a good fight. Man. But yeah, like the whole Pacquiao talk,
money grab for sure. Going to Saudi Arabia on top of that's all. If you didn't know, like, how can you say that? They're not talking about fighting in Mexico, the Philippines, either foreign fighters' home country besides America. They're talking about fighting in Saudi Arabia. That's to say money grab. You don't know boxing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at the fight because I don't think Pacquiao would fare as well against the other top in the division. I think that's the best matchup style wise. Potentially, maybe right now, an older Pacquiao against a Mikey Garcia who's still trying to find his.
Oh yeah, I'm Pacquiao. I'm signing tonight. Where I sign it?
Right, yeah, for sure. It's like you talk that Errol Spence talk, you talk the Terrence Crawford talk. It's like,
I want that.
How much am I getting paid for this?
Yeah, people don't realize it was just a year ago. He came into Texas at the Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, aka Jerry World, and said, yeah, let's get it on to Earl Spence. Has never said his name since that time. Nobody talks about that in the boxing circles.
Yeah.
He got that ring, said, let's get it on, but he has not said Earl Spence' name one time.
He said, let's get it on like he had a gun to his head. He wasn't excited about it even then. Like, I recognize that right off the rip. I was like, he don't really want this. It's hell. But yeah, I'm with you though. I think that would be the best fight to do. I do wish that they would bring that one here somewhere stateside though. But Eddie Hearn was pretty adamant about that being
Saudi
Arabia last night.
They built a stadium just for us. Props to Eddie. Thanks for the one-on-one interviews. Got a lot of traffic. Eddie Hearn's like YouTube Gold. People are interested in what that man has to say.
Because he always gives elaborate answers. Like he's always willing to answer questions like in depth, and he does it with a lot of energy. So yeah, he's always a great interview.
You ask 3 questions and get an 8-minute interview.
Right. Versus like most people are just like, no, that's not gonna happen. No, Eddie will tell you the whole deal. He'll put some pizzazz behind it too. That's why I like watching his interviews, man. That's why.
Especially when somebody try to contradict what they said. Did he show you the contract? Each way how he asks his questions very
he'll always throw in his own questions. Like he'll be like try to throw his own stuff in to make it seem like it's more legitimate, even though it could be complete BS. What he's saying, just saying. That's how charisma works, I guess.
That is not a rumor. I can let you know that is not a rumor.
For sure. So good night here at the Star in Frisco. So
Chocolito, pops to him. First time I saw him fight live, he turned back the clock like Chocolito, that got famous in 2015 and 2017 that was whooping everybody's ass. He turned back the clock last night.
Yeah, he really did. He looked pretty good.
Weird fight that a lot of people thought he was gonna lose. As the quote Eddie Hearn, he thought Father Tom would tap him on the shoulder in Frisco, Texas, but he said nah.
Yeah, shout out to EFI and Vargas though for rocking the Kobe tribute shorts. I thought that was pretty dope.
I like Jesse's better.
Yeah. They were both. You could tell they were both made by the same people. Whoever did them, because I mean the 24 and the 8 were in the exact same spot, exact same foil, metallic stuff. It was a cool little tribute, but they both tried to tribute Kobe and they both lost. But that's neither here nor there. UFC also had a card last night. They were supposed to crown a new flyweight champion, but see what had happened was Davidson Figueiredo.
People didn't do their job.
Davidson Figueiredo missed weight, and then it was only a title fight for Benavidez, and then Benavidez ended up losing. So now we still have a vacant flyweight title. So the flyweight division is just. I mean, hell, they might just scrap the whole thing at this point. Like, last night was just saving grace. I know Henry Cejudo went on Twitter and was like, I'll come back down. Like, the reason it was vacant was because you couldn't come back down. So, you extra motivated now? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I think he could beat the guy that won, though.
Yeah, Figueiredo? I think so. I think he could. But, I mean, as much as that just throws a wrench in everything that was in the attempt to save the flyweight division, I don't know what happens with that. I just want to talk about these 3 fights. When we just talked about the top, Felicia Spencer getting a win over Zara Farron.
I didn't even know who she was. Where's Zara Farron come?
She's been around for a few fights now. She's lost to Spencer, and now she lost to Megan Anderson before this. So, but she's taking L's. But the question out of that fight becomes, who is next for Amanda? Is it Felicia Spencer or is it Megan Anderson? And for me, it's got to be Felicia Spencer because she just beat Megan Anderson last year, not even a year ago.
Yeah. And she made a good count for herself against Cyborg. Was that her last fight?
Yeah, it took her to a decision. Yeah.
She definitely is worthy of a shot, but Amanda, she's in a very odd spot. Like, hey, I didn't beat everybody, including the number 2 pound for pound. But I want to see her fight the number 2 pound for pound for a 3rd time. You never see that in combat sports. Usually when somebody wins the first, if there's a draw, something like Deontay, we'll get to them later, and there's a clear win the second time, people still want to see a 3rd fight. There was controversy in both fights, and it's like, but she got both decisions, so it's kind of like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, for sure. So the 3rd fight that I want to talk about, Jan Kutalaba, Magomed Ankalaev. I'm just going to show the clip here on our video feed on the YouTube side if you're watching along with this. It was
controversial.
Yeah, when UFC even tweets out what a controversial finish, you know it's a controversial finish. And these boys are just swinging crazy, and Kutalaba gets rocked a little bit, but he's still swinging. very much into this. He's wobbling a little bit, but he's mid throwing punches when the ref stops the fight. That is insane to me. I've never seen this before.
I was in the first round,
And he
too?
is livid. He is livid. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I didn't realize it's that early. What are you doing, mate?
That is a terrible stoppage. Terrible stoppage. Like, that's probably the worst stoppage I've seen. And that's saying a lot. And it's just, for a guy,
The dude got a chin, though.
Yeah, Cutelaba got a hell of a chin.
Yeah, he clearly was, man. He was landing while he stopped.
Exactly. That's man, that is so bad. And he's already come out and said he's protesting that stoppage, and I don't blame him, man. Like, that should be.
I wonder if they overturned it. That'd be interesting to see.
I think they would.
He's a legit case for a no contest.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that it's in the first round, like not even a minute in. Like,
he never did fall. He never did fall.
That's got to be a no contest. If that's not a no contest, I mean, that says a lot about the athletic commission in where were they, in Virginia? Yeah.
I wonder what the guy won. I don't know what he thought he looked. Ooh.
I don't know. I didn't seek out any commentary after his win last night, so maybe I'll go look that up, or maybe I won't.
I'm ready for this week's card, though. I'm very ready for this week. I think it's crazy that people are betting against Joanna and JJ. If I was in Vegas, I'd be putting 200 on JJ. I think Wei Ling's style is tailored for JJ, and her experience will win this fight. It won't be pretty, but I think she'll find a way to get her hand up. She's not going to stop her. She's not going to lose either.
I'm on the fence on this card, or on this fight in particular. The hell of a co-main event, no doubt. Could easily headline another card, in my opinion. But to your point, I am torn on this. I could see why JJ wins. I could see why Weili Zhang wins.
Plus 160 though. That's. They didn't get some of that nibble. I thought about doing it when I was in Vegas. I'm like, maybe people trying to.
And hey, Weili Zhang has looked strong, super strong.
But Johanna's not no Jessica Andrade though.
No, she's not. She's definitely not. She's definitely not. It'll be a good fight. It'll be a damn good fight. For me right now, it's potential of fight of the night.
Yeah, they're both about the same size, because Joanna's, people realize for 115, Joanna's, she's not a big woman in general, but for 115 she is. Wei Ling's the same way. So that size advantage that they usually have against somebody does not work. And we see now, that's one thing about JJ. When she had a size advantage against Valentina, she looked average, but then she fought Valentina. It'd be interesting to see her fight somebody, and Valentina's a little bit bigger than her. So they're basically going to be the same size. So it's different to see her go make that cut and still be the same size as somebody where you makes that cut. A good 5 to 10 pounds.
Well, yeah. Well, Weili is definitely
much
bigger. No, much bigger. Yeah. It'll be a good fight. But what everyone's really talking about, has been talking about, is that main event. Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero, a fight that shouldn't have happened because Yoel Romero's on a 2-fight losing streak.
And watch Yoel Romero win and shake things up. My common sense says Adesanya, but I have a funny feeling just off of Yoel's gonna make it way more closer. I'm not enough to put no money on him though, but definitely wouldn't be surprised to see something crazy.
I think the MMA gods have been fed their bloodthirsty ways with this past card this weekend, with all the chaos, that terrible stoppage, and the flyweight vacancy. Hopefully everything stays correct this coming for this card, with Israel going out there and beating a guy on a 2-fight losing streak. Hopefully. Hopefully. Let's just hope that is the case. But I'm not as high on Yoel Romero right now as some people have been. Like, if you look at his most recent fights, like, yeah, this is the way he fights, but he has come out so flat in the first couple of rounds of his last, like, 2 or 3 fights. And Izzy is not the guy that's going to go out there and just be flat. He's going to get in your face and throw strikes and try to bait you into something.
True, but that's what he fights his whole career. Like, his best wins against Chris Weidman. I was there. He was losing 2.5 rounds. 1 knee later, nobody talks about that. So if that was not his style, I see what you're saying, but his style, that's how he does. That's what he does.
Oh yeah, no, I know that's his style and all that good stuff.
As crazy as it is, it works.
A guy, I think Izzy is that good. I think he is not even reaching the peak of what he's going to do with this title. So
I think they'll make it a sparring session.
I don't know. I think Izzy knows that Yoel is dangerous as he goes on. Like there's a reason third round Romero is the thing. So, I think Izzy is gonna do his best to try to get him out of there because he doesn't want to have to worry about any of that. But
are you calling for stoppage?
yeah, I think there will be a stoppage in this fight. I think there will be. I don't see this going to the judges, one way or another, unless if Izzy goes in there and tries to do the hey, I can wrestle too sort of thing. Like, come on. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Pull that John Jones. Don't beat you what you do best. But the thing is, when we see Yoel wrestle somebody consistently, like
that's what I'm saying. He hasn't done it in years.
Yeah.
He hasn't really done it in years. He may have to resort to it though. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm still pumped up for that matchup.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. Yeah, it's a good card all in all. Good card. Main event, main card rather.
Well, that's a career changer. That's a swing fight for both those guys. Whoever wins that Perusian Klaus fight is gonna sky to like top 10 status. They're definitely gonna change one of their lives, good or bad.
Yeah, for sure. And Neil Magny's return, Max Griffin against Oliveira.
Oh, Max Payne. I thought Oliveira was fighting Kevin Lee. I guess I'm crazy.
That's a different Oliveira.
Okay.
Buddy. Different Oliveira.
One Cowboy. Okay, my bad.
No, yeah, you're thinking of other featherweight, featherweight now turn lightweight. Oliveira, Charles Oliveira. Alex Cowboy Oliveira is 170, Max Griffin 170. Good fight. That'll be a lot of entertaining moments in that fight as well. Sean
O'Malley's back. See, I didn't look at. I don't have no intentions of watching the undercard. I'm gonna watch every second of the main card.
I like the Gerald Mearshart Deron Wynn fight. That should be fun. Just a good card, man. I'm gonna kick back early, tune into most of all of this as much as possible. The early prelims, a lot of new names on the early prelims, but should still be fun.
No shadowy figures. Pop to UFC and people with some legitness.
For sure. So, what's anything else you want to get into about this weekend?
Wilder Fury 3 coming to you July 18th. Yours truly will be there again at MGM. It will be hot as shit, but that's cool. I'll be out there for 2 weeks. I'll be out there for UFC 252, NBA Summer League, and Wilder Fury 3. So I'm going to spend 13 days in hot Vegas in July. Looking forward to it, though.
And I can't believe that they've scheduled this third fight so soon. 5 months away now. Not even 5 months.
In like 5 months.
And here we are. And I just don't think, based on what we saw in the last fight, I don't think Deontay can make the necessary adjustments that he's going to need to do to win against the type of Tyson Fury that showed up against him.
I don't think that same Tyson Fury shows up. He can win again. I don't think that's going to be him at his peak. He will not be that guy the third fight. Just call me crazy. He may be as good as he was the first time, or maybe worse. He won't be that guy. I'll follow my seat if that guy shows up again. Because my man Deontay be in trouble.
Say it like this. I hope Deontay does make the adjustments because I want to see him win.
Yeah, that's
but,
I just want to see a different fight. If he would have lose, he makes adjustments, he lose, but it's a completely different fight than either one of the first two. I live with that. I'll be cool. Some people they got your number. But if he come doing the same shit, I'll be like this brother here.
Yes, it's definitely we're gonna be paying close attention to. Obviously, we'll be watching the fights, of course, if we're both not there in some capacity. No, you'll be there. I'll see if I make it out there. Whatever. We'll figure it out as it gets closer. But let's get into these chats. We got Neil Magny up first, and then Joy Taylor bringing it home for us. Fantastic conversations with both of these guests this week. Hit that subscribe button. You know what to do. Share it with your friends. Thumbs up. All that good stuff. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the show. And yeah. Catch you later.
Please welcome back to the Slip of Deal podcast. Friend of the show, UFC welterweight contender, Mr. Neil Magny, who just added a new title to his ledger, Papa Magny. Congrats. He'll be fighting at UFC 248 this Saturday against Li Jingliang on the main card. Hope I got that name right.
Close enough. I've been calling him Jingliang for the last 3 months, so not come across disrespectful, but that's what it looks like on paper to me.
So, I mean, this has been a long time coming for you, right? 2 years, over 2 years away?
No, lucky hasn't been that long. It's been about 16, close enough, I guess. It's been about 16 months since my last fight, but Yeah, definitely a long time coming. I'm itching to get back in there.
Sure. So what's this time off like? I know sometimes fighters get antsy, wanting to get back in there, and So what's life been like? I know you got the kid and everything, so I'm sure that's kind of occupied your time. Doing the father thing. So what's it been like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in some weird, strange way, this time off has actually been super beneficial. I mean, with just being home more often last year, my wife and I were able to conceive a child and have a healthy baby boy now. So that's something I'm super grateful for. I mean, in addition to that, just how training has been over the last year and a half or so. I feel like I've been making a lot of strides in the gym and really putting my game together. So it somehow ended up working out in the end where it just gave me an opportunity to really grow as a fighter and as a human. So even though it was a crappy situation to start out with, I think it worked out for the great.
So you focus on making a push for that belt and finally get that title shot and try to throw your hand and make a UFC history. And I say in the next 2 to 3 fights.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. That's definitely the goal. I mean, having this extra motivation, having this time off is definitely the goal, and I feel like I'm putting myself in the right place in order to accomplish that. And I mean, having this time off really gave me a chance to sit down with my coaches, go over some things that they kind of picked up on the last couple of fights, and really address those issues. I mean, a lot of times when you're jumping into the next training camp, you just kind of got to go with what you have. It's like, all right, I don't have time to rechange or redo everything. And I'm just going to take what I got and go to war with it. But having a year and a half off really allowed my coaches and I to sit down and put a game plan together for the type of fighter they want me to be, and the type of fighter I know I can be.
What you learned from the Ponzinibbio loss? Because that kind of came out the blue. And were you 100% physically going into that fight?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that Pozniak fight was the cool thing about that. It was a fight that needed to happen the way that it did. I mean, I felt as if I prepared for that fight the way I should have. I felt as if I was ready to go and had everything to be successful in that fight. But being in that moment, being in that cage, and hearing his coaches coach against me as well as they did, and seeing that I didn't prepare the way I was supposed to, that really made it evident to me that I need to make some changes in my training camp and really address some issues. So, like I said, even though that fight sucked, it took a beating in that fight, just as this last past year, I feel like it was necessary to go through those changes.
And another question: nobody talks about like the grit and grind that y'all put y'all body through. Like, how sore were you after? Like, how long did it take you to get back to feeling somewhat normal after something like that? Because that's the part that nobody see. Me and Matt always talk about put on a show, but then they don't see y'all lipping back or don't know what arena he's in. He just got done going to war, and the fans don't see that part. Or you probably be laid up for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was definitely rough. I mean, I was living for about a month or so after that fight, and it literally took 3 months after that fight for me to feel my front 2 teeth again. I mean, it got to the point that was just like, it was literally numb. I went to the dentist a few times. It was like, dude, I need you to do X-ray on this. Like, I cannot feel my front 2 teeth. Like, I would literally put my teeth in ice cream on ice, and I could not feel the front 2 teeth. I just felt like a nerve got disconnected, something got broken off or something, and I didn't know what was up with it. So I literally went back to the dentist over and over and over again, trying to get him to see what was going on with that, with my front 2 teeth. And luckily it all came back. I got the feeling back in it now, but that was a long recovery after that Pozniak fight.
Dude, that's crazy. Has anything happened like that to you before? Like with any other body parts where you couldn't feel it for a while?
Even some of the fights, like the Lorenz Larkin fight, where you really go through a tough fight, you take some good licks or whatever. Within a week or two, you're back moving around, you're normal. This fight was literally one of the worst beatings I took throughout my career. But in some strange way, all this pain, all these that I went through, I feel like it was necessary. I mean, I wouldn't have made the changes that I made in the last 16 months had I not lived through what I lived through the last 16 months.
Crazy. That's crazy. So how long did you know that you were going to be facing Jing Liang?
I know about this fight since December, but been preparing ever since. I was trying to get an earlier return date. So initially this fight was supposed to happen in October, but Jing Liang at the time wasn't ready, so they pushed it back to March. But like I said, I mean, the more time that I had, I feel like everything just is coming together the way it's supposed to.
You like the fact that UFC kind of low key and brought it up that you're making your return? Because some people they only acknowledge. I've heard a couple of times when they like UFC 248 Saturday March 6th, and they like such and Joanna and JK fighting. Also the return of Neil Magny. I heard here and there. So does that make you feel good? The fact that they low key throwing your name out there.
Oh, it feels great, man. I mean, just getting back out there, it feels amazing. I mean, right now, I feel like the ball's in my court. I mean, it's up to me to go out there and do the best with it. I mean, I feel like the fight card with Yoel Romero, Adesanya, with the two ladies fighting on there, I feel like it's a great card to make a return on. I mean, there'll be a lot of eyes on this fight card. I'm on the main card pay-per-view portion, so I have just as much opportunity as anyone on that card to go out there and make a name for themselves. So I feel like it's a great stage for me to come out there and just remind everyone what I'm made of and make a run towards my goals.
Who's some people you think you got to see in the octagon to be able to make it happen sooner rather than later?
What was that? Sorry.
Who's some people that you want to see? Like, who you need to see, in what order do you think to get you the quickest to get a title shot?
I think after this fight, I mean, a perfect fight would be a guy like Mike Chiesa. I mean, and it's not like one of those things that I want to disrespect him or anything like that, but you just have to acknowledge what he's done in the division over the last 2 years, especially since with my time off. I mean, he's moved up. He's on a 3-fight win streak, all 3 impressive wins. So I feel like being Jingling, that'd be a perfect guy to set the fight with afterwards.
Yes, it seems to be a popular name that gets thrown around a lot these days. A lot of people trying to take his smoke.
I used to come out a lot, yeah. Everybody talk about his winning streak, but everybody want to fight him.
I mean, it's one of those things where you can't deny what the man has done over the last year and a half. I mean, he has 3 impressive wins at welterweight, so I want to get a piece of that. I want to see what it's all about and see what the hype's about. So I'm jumping for that one next.
Can we get this energy on the mic, Neil? That's what I need from you. Energy on the mic. I know it's in you. I've seen it. I've talked to you. I've kicked it with you. I know it's in there. We're going to see it publicly, that energy. Like, I want Mike Chiesa, no disrespect. I want to see what that 3-win streak all about. Make it happen, Dana White.
No, absolutely. I mean, at this point, closed mouths don't get fed. I mean, I spent a long time of my career just kind of waiting to see how things went about. So I think it's the perfect time to start being more vocal and really making a run towards the things that I want and not putting on anyone else to hand it to me or let someone else bring it up. So I know what I want. I know how to get there. So it's up to me to make it happen at this point.
Let me ask you something about that happened this weekend on the UFC card. Obviously, the main event this past weekend was the vacant flyweight title bout, and we all know that Figueiredo missed weight. But were you aware that you could be fined your Reebok purse for missing weight as well? Because that's what happened to him.
No, that was news to me when I saw that. I literally was just sitting back, and I think MMA Junkie or something like that posted on social media, and I came across that. And that really surprised me because I thought the only way you can find your Reebok purse, or not purse, but your Reebok payout was if you broke the clause in some kind of way and you didn't wear a proper uniform or something like that. So that really surprised me that Reebok was able to take his money away for not making weight. But I guess the one thing that makes sense about that is the only reason he has such a significant pay bump was because it was a title fight, and since he didn't make weight, it was no longer a title fight for him. So technically, he just goes back to his regular pay scale.
That's also a good point. That is a good point that gets overlooked as well. It's just something, I guess, it kind of like combining it seems like really crazy. Like, wow, they're really trying to take everything away from these fighters, you know? But yeah, that's a good point that I think a lot of people are overlooking, that, yeah, he couldn't win the title. But it also reminds me of a time way back when I forget who it was, but I want to say it was a title fight between Khabib and someone where they said, look, if you beat the champ, you're going to be the champ. That's what Dana said. Yeah, Ala Quinta. But the difference here is that I guess there was no champ. So I'm curious, how do you think Dana should handle this? Should there be should he just kind of crown him the flyweight title champion, or vacate it again and put him in another title fight? What would you do?
I mean, at this point, it makes it tough because you have Henry Cejudo saying he's making his return back to 125 now, and him being the last actual champ at 125. I feel like you have to somewhat honor him as a champ as well. But it definitely mixes things up for the whole division at this point. I mean, do you run a rematch back with Joseph Benavidez? Do you bring the next guy up and have that be the title fight? It definitely switches things up, and I honestly don't know what the best route is to settle that situation. I mean, Jose Aldo is scheduled to fight Henry Cejudo in May, I believe, and who knows how long after that fight he'll be ready to go down to 125. So at this point, it definitely makes things a lot more confusing for the flyweight division. It's pretty unfortunate for the other guys in that division because of it.
So do you watch MMA as a whole across the board, or you just only focus on people that you got to see? Because a lot of fighters, I don't watch nothing. I do. I'm supposed to do that, but it's like they know everything when you ask them a question. So it's like, how you osmosisly getting this information?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely love it. I mean, it's cool to go out there. I mean, and the biggest thing too, like being around the sport for so long. I mean, I've been to UFC since 2012 now, so you definitely start making friends and start rooting to see people do well. So you definitely follow it as a fan. You definitely follow it just because majority of your peers are people who compete in the UFC. So I definitely follow it even when I'm not competing, even if it's not my weight class. Just kind of keeping an eye on the sport as a whole, wishing friends well and that kind of thing.
Yeah, speaking of friends, you got one competing with you as well, Austin Hubbard. What's it been like training with him, rather?
Yeah, I'm so excited for that one. I mean, I met this kid like 3-4 years ago now. He came out to Colorado for about a week or so, trying out the gym. And shortly after, he's like, hey, Neil, you still got a room open at your house? I'm thinking about moving to Colorado. And at the time, it kind of blew it off. I was like, yeah, whatever. You're not moving to Colorado, bro. I heard that before. I heard people say they love the gym. They'll be out here in a couple of weeks. But this dude was serious. He literally said he's coming out to Colorado. And within 2 weeks, he had a U-Haul pull up to my door with all of his stuff in it and his dog in the back seat. He was ready to go.
That's dope, man.
Would you basically? I'm not trying to get rid of you, but would you being looked as an elder statesman in this game? Have you ever thought about your exit strategy? Because you seem to be a guy that keep your head on the big picture.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. It's one of those things that I fight with all the time. I mean, a lot of like financial mentors tell you focus on plan A, plan B is just a distraction. So it definitely is something that you have to focus on, put all your energy into. But on the other side is you can't turn a blind eye to it. Like if I'm fortunate enough to make it to where I'm competing at my best, like guys like Alistair Overeem, when it's my 40s, then great. But the reality of it is I haven't seen a MMA fighter retire and not have to do anything else just yet. I mean, even George St. Pierre, he retired and he was a relatively successful UFC fighter. And he came out of retirement recently to compete again. So it's definitely something I can't turn a blind eye to. It's definitely something I have to be aware of, especially now having mouths to feed. I can't sit there and think it's all about me and chasing his dream. I mean, I definitely have to be able to provide for my family later on, even outside the UFC.
Yeah, there's no such thing as an MMA retirement. I think we've all come to learn that. Like, it's not a lot of
gym route is the thing, but the MMA gym route, I feel like it's a flooded market. I mean, unless I go to Alaska somewhere and open up a gym, I feel like it's a saturated market at this point.
Yeah, everybody has it. Yeah, yeah. It's like you talk to an MMA fighter, come to my gym, man. It's like I didn't even know you had one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, this is gonna be exciting return. I've been waiting to see you back in action for a while. It's kind of like there was a time there where it was like, oh, Neil's fighting this weekend. Oh, Neil's fighting next weekend. Oh, it's like, you know, certain fighters have come along kind of taking that that reign. Like Angela Hill's fighting like every other weekend now, you know.
Flexing on them too.
Yeah. Like that's fun. Like kind of you guys are saying, like, do you follow sports when you're not competing? I mean, how can I not follow a story like Angela Hill? I mean, the girl started competing or started training at 24 years old. And here she is at 34, finally making a stride and finally blossoming into the great fighter she can be. So how can I not be a fan of somebody like that? How can I not support that? Like I'm definitely rooting for Angela Hill every time she goes out there to fight.
See, I think I found your second career. We need some more brother promoters out here doing that. You just on top of the head. He's like a promoter.
Man, that's another market that's saturated. I mean, like even in Colorado, like every other weekend is a different show. I mean, outside the UFC, I think there are 3 major promotions going on outside the UFC this weekend. I mean, it's just real difficult to find your niche in the MMA world. I mean, everyone has an instructional DVD. Everyone has a gym. For the longest part, it was the clothing lines. Everyone had a clothing line that they were pushing at one point. Now a lot of fighters are jumping into the equipment side of things. So it's just real difficult to find a way to make a living in MMA outside of actually competing in MMA.
you could be a life coach / spiritual advisor / personal trainer / physical therapist, just like Diego Sanchez found. I mean, hey, that's an untapped market right there. There's only one of those dudes doing that.
Yeah, he definitely has it filled out. I mean, I guarantee in about 5 years, though, you see everyone jumping on Diego Sanchez train, and there'll be all types of people doing yoga and stuff like it. I guarantee it. I mean, it's one of those things like with MMA. It's sadly, it's like everyone's looking over their shoulder to see what the other person is doing, and as soon as they figure it out, they try to trend and just exploit it. So there's nothing there.
So like the NFL is a copycat league. I guess the UFC is a copycat organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough.
I don't want to bag on Joshua Fabia too much, but I do want to ask you your opinion on one of the things that he said in his recent media run where he's trying to like validate himself. One of the things he said, I think it was with the Luke Thomas interview that he did, was when he said, he's questioned about his corner work, or his lack of advice in the corner. And he said, how dare I tell a fighter what to do in the heat of a moment? How much do you as a fighter appreciate technical advice from your corner?
Man, it's something that we definitely do appreciate. I mean, a lot of times you hope that your corner's decision never has to be something that makes a difference in the fight, but you definitely appreciate a strong cornerman that can make the right decisions for you. I mean, I got to experience that firsthand when Nate Marquardt fought down in Mexico City. He was fighting Kelvin Gastelum. The fight wasn't going his way. He wasn't fitting well because of the altitude, because of a bunch of other things going on. And at the time, Trevor Whitman made the call to stop the fight. He was like, nope, I'm not letting you continue. You're taking unnecessary damage. I don't see you turning this fight around in any way whatsoever. And he called the fight. So I think it definitely is important to have people in your corner that can make those sound decisions for you and be able to tell you like, hey, you know what? I think you got a little more in the tank. Go ahead and give it what you got. But they also have to be able to be intelligent enough to say, like, hey, I think you took enough. I'm calling the fight. And you got to be respecting for that decision.
Neil, here's a two-part question. When it comes to technical advice, why do fighters let the coach, they're the ones in the fight, but they got the coach calling what they need to throw? You should have been trained enough that you should know what to throw. They don't do that. They might say throw a hook, but they're not left kick, jump right like it's an NFL play. Or have some cute little name. It's like I never have gotten that part of MMA, and it's kind of like it's just like a banter that's part of the fight. And then too, like you were saying about trainers protecting fighters. Do you think more people should do like the Deontay Wilder fight when his trainer threw in the towel? He's still catching flack. That was 2 weeks ago. You think we should see more often in MMA because you see that especially on the undercards before we get to the main card. You see usually 1 or 2 fights that's like whoa, they could stop this about 5-10 minutes earlier or a round before, but you don't see nobody stopping it. It's like MMA, they don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that should happen more often. I mean, to answer both questions, I've seen something. One of them happened to me personally. The other one I've seen happen with another fighter. In my Ponzinibbio fight, there are points where I realized, like, man, these guys did their homework. Like, his corners were calling things during the fight that you can definitely tell that they did their research. They did their homework. They watched film. They broke me down. They knew exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to beat me. And he went out there and executed it perfectly. I mean, and that was a wake-up call for me, like being in the heat of the moment and realize, like, man, these guys did their homework. And I'm just sitting there dumbfounded, like, well, fuck, what do I do in the heat of the moment to bring the fight back right now? And I didn't have an answer for it. And that's one of those things that going forward, I can't allow happen again. I need to be able to break film down with my coaches, have a game plan going in there, and even have a backup in case the first game plan doesn't work. And that Ponzinibbio fight really made that evident to me. And the second part of your question, you can see that in the fight, like I can't remember the girl's name, Macy Barber, in her fight. She was sitting on the ground. She was obviously injured. The knee was out of place. She lost the first 2 rounds. And then they're like, hey, let's go out there and still have you fight the 3rd round. That was clearly a time where the coach could have saved the fighter from any further unnecessary damage. I mean, luckily for her, her opponent wasn't as vicious as other fighters were and didn't choose to attack the leg any more than she already did. And didn't do much more damage than that was done. But that was a perfect case where a coach should have stepped in and said, nah, my fighter had enough. I'd rather her fight another day than leave it all out there tonight.
No, she was definitely lucky that she was in there with Roxanne, because Roxanne was like, even after she hurt herself, Roxanne was on top of her, hitting her, saying sorry at the same time. like,
Yeah.
like nobody else is doing that for you. Somebody else is gonna make you stand up and then kick the shit out of that knee until you fall over. Like, she got incredibly lucky. But yeah, like back to like the combinations thing. Like, I think it's like super important because, I mean, I know sometimes like you can get in your own head a little bit to where it's like you're kind of overthinking things in the heat of a moment, and then when you hear that, like whatever the name for a combination being yelled, and you're like, oh shit, and then it's like boom, right there, and then you didn't realize that opening was there. You know, it's completely different in the heat of the moment. Like you there's so much going on.
Well, I mean, it's definitely difficult. I mean, I've been in fights where, I mean, and it's one of those things. I mean, if you drilled it over and over and over, and you and your coaches are locked in, it's easy to say like, hey, let's switch it up and do this thing like we did in training. They can make that adjustment. But I've been in fights where I'm just getting the crap kicked out of me. My coach's like, hey, I need you to be first. And I'm like scratching my head, like, be first, like, what does that mean? Like, what is it? What exactly is it that you want me to do? In order for me to go out there and try to lay this dude out, like, what is it you need me to do? And that just goes to this poor preparation. I mean, if you prepared properly with your fighter and you know what your fighter's capable of, it's easy to make those adjustments on the fly. But if you're just kind of winging it on fight night, I mean, prepare for the worst. You're probably going to get beat that night.
It's like real bad when it's just like you hear corners sometimes be like, get up, get off your back. Like, how about tell me what technically I need to do to adjust this position? Some corners are great at that. Other ones are just like yelling out stuff like, move. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's not really helping.
Yeah. Well, what Matt says is 100% true, but also when they're telling you what to do, if I'm out there and I've been practicing, okay, you got somebody that's like slick on the ground like a Damian Maya, okay, I got to change this. They told him to do this. So to me, it's like you kind of learn it's like fair game, because if you got somebody as high level as you're fighting, top 10 guys, when they hear such and such, they got to counter to that more than likely.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you tipping off the opponent too at that level.
That's why there's code words.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there's some cues that you need to be aware of too. Like I can, like for example, in training a couple weeks ago, one of my training partners took me down. I was like, all right, cool. I'm in guard. I was comfortable there. I was attacking submissions and that kind of thing. And before you knew it, 90 seconds had gone by and I'm still on bottom trying to attack submissions, and there's 60 seconds left in the round. I mean, at that point, in the judge's eyes, if it were a fight, I'm losing that fight. I'm on bottom. I'm attacking submissions. None of them are successful. My mindset needs to shift. It's like, all right, forget that submission. Get back to your feet and win this round. That's a situation where I feel like the coach's advice from the outside is to be beneficial in order to help change how that fight may end up.
So Neil, back to the baby thing, being a father and everything. I know you have the puppy that we saw in the background. Has the puppy been getting super jealous? Because I know that happens sometimes.
Yeah, she's in the dungeon now, bro. Like she literally gets thrown out in the basement now. That's a new home. She's not upstairs anymore.
Oh man, she like, I got booted to the basement. Dang, that's vicious. No man, that's super. That's cool, man. I can't wait to see you get back in action, man. Super exciting card that you're coming back on too. And we know you're an all action fighter as well, so it's going to be a great night of fights. Best of luck on the evening. Considering the long layoff, man, I want to see you get back in there and get your hand raised, man.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
It's the same to me, man. I know you probably got that. And the winner, Neil Magny. You've had that play through your head. I was just as a ringtone for motivation every time my phone rings.
The grocery store thinking about it. I'm driving thinking about it. Like I just playing over and over in my mind nonstop. Like it's good when you start thinking about your post fight like victory speech even. Like that's how confident I excited I am at this point for this fight. I mean I'm just rehearsing in my mind over and over and over. Like what am I gonna say when they hand me that mic? Like like I don't want to ruin this moment.
I'll be listening. I want some fire. I'm like, that's my guy. I'll text you after the fight, win or lose. But you get that dub, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna grade your speech.
Oh, for sure, bro. Appreciate it.
There he is, guys. Neil Magny, UFC 248, the return. Appreciate you coming on the Slip and Dip podcast, man. Thanks as always.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on.
making a slip and dip debut. One of the most talented people on TV today. You can catch her on Colin Cowherd every day. And if you listen to Maybe I'm Crazy podcast, she's the host of that. Sometimes she might even slip up on Skip and Shannon's Undisputed. The beautiful and talented Joy Taylor. Appreciate you coming on. You're hardly to pin down.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I know you got a lot to say about that Deontay Wilder fight.
Yeah, that was something. I ran into you right outside of the fight, actually, in MGM, which that whole scene was just wow. Like there were so many people there. I felt like that's the busiest I've seen Vegas since Mayweather McGregor.
Exactly.
There were so many people, really high energy. And everyone was just really excited for that fight. Now, the fight itself did not go the way that I thought it would, but it was definitely a scene. It was so hot in there.
It was hot. They moved us like we used to be up in the studio A and B. They moved us to that random location. I didn't even know it exists. I've been to MGM over 100 times. I'm like, what is this? Yeah, that restaurant. I'm like, I pass by all the time. I didn't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, it was great though. Like I actually like both of those fighters. Obviously, I'm a Wilder fan, and he's been on my podcast before. So, but I think they're both really likable. I think what made the fight so great was that they both sold it really well. To me, boxing has been down over the past couple years because one, the heavyweight division didn't really have those superstars anymore, and part of the fight game to me is selling the fight. Like, it can be a great fighter. We've seen so many amazing fighters, but if there's no animosity, if there's no storyline with boxing, it just doesn't have the same appeal, doesn't have the same energy. It can still be a good fight, but you're not going to have people talking about it, a month later, 3 weeks later. It's not going to set up for a third fight that we're all going to be excited to see, So I thought the two of them did a really good job of respectfully selling the fight. It never got into that space that Mayweather McGregor got into towards the end of the But honestly, that not to like talk about Mayweather McGregor, but that was such an obvious path. Like you put Mayweather and McGregor on stage for a half an hour open mic in like 5 different cities. I mean, you know what I mean? That's eventually something's going to go wrong. But I thought they did a great job selling the fight. The whole week leading up to it had a lot of excitement. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the third fight.
When you think about it, being so soon, July 18th, then will you be there again? I'm already booked. I'll be in Vegas for 2 weeks, Joy. 2 weeks. I got UFC the week before. I got Summer League out there, and I got that. So I'm going to be a busy prep. And I'll probably pop my ass up to the ESPYs.
Ooh, 2 weeks in Vegas. I don't know if I could ever sign up for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
twice. But it's
I'm
crazy.
definitely trying to go. I'm definitely trying to go to the third fight for sure. I think it's perfect that they're going to fight again before either one of them fight Joshua, which I think is the next fight after that, regardless of who wins this one. Although I don't really know what Fury's plan is. So Fury has 3 fights left on his contract, right? So there would be this one and 2 more. Yeah, and then he said he's retiring after that. So it would be great to see, the winner of this fight, which I think Wilder will win the third fight. I thought he won the first fight, but I just think he wasn't prepared. I don't know how much I give. I mean, I do think that the 40-pound costume may have taken a little bit out of him, but I also am not going to point to that reason he lost the fight.
Yeah, it's that was one of the wildest excuses that I've heard in a long time. Someone's costume, but then you hear that he was wearing it for approximately 30 minutes or so. Then it becomes like a little bit more believable of an excuse. Like, okay, I could see how that could wear on you a little bit if you're wearing it for that long. But at the end of the day, it's 40 pounds, and it's like across your whole body. Like, I'm sure you curl 40 pounds quite easily, Deontay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you're not doing that before the fight. Like, it wasn't some. But the thing that makes it a weird excuse is like you didn't have to wear that. You know what I mean? Like, that was a choice, which we all appreciated because it looked awesome and it added to the pageantry of the fight, but it wasn't necessary. That to me was what the issue was. Like, if you're going to put this costume on or put this outfit together to wear out, and you see how heavy it is, you know what I mean? Maybe you just make a call and you save it for a photo shoot, you know? I mean, we've all had outfits that we planned and been like, yeah, like I'm gonna look fresh in this. But you got to make a decision in that spot. But I don't think it was just that. Like, yes, everything plays a role, right? So if psychologically he felt tired before he got into the ring, then yeah, totally, that could be part of it. But also, Fury was in so much better shape than he was for the first fight. Like, you could see that he had taken care of his body, and that's his body type. So like, I think we have to get out of this idea, especially with the fight game, that you have to have some specific body type to be a good fighter. It's just not true. That's what happened with Joshua and Ruiz, right? Like, Ruiz comes in there just straight butterball and beats Anthony Joshua because that's not what it's about. You know what I mean? It's not. You have to be in the best shape for whatever you are. We know if you're going to be a professional fighter, that you're made of something different on the inside than the rest of us, that you can be punched repeatedly in the face or kicked repeatedly in the face by another man who's trying to literally kill you. And be able to walk through that. Like, you're not normal. I mean, I can square up, but I'm not built like that, like that. You know what I mean? So we have to get away from that whole idea anyway. But you could tell that Fury was in better shape, though. Where I noticed it was his face and in his back. I thought in the first fight, like, that space underneath your shoulders, you know, like a little extra chunk you get when you know what I mean? You hit the gym in a couple days. Yeah, like that wasn't there. To me, that was like, it sounds weird, but you carry bad weight in bad spots, you know? So he looked like he was in better shape. He said he had a live-in nutritionist. So I think Wilder knows what to expect from Fury in the third fight. He knows he's going to come at him. And I think we'll have a really good third fight.
My thing is, like, I could see, like, with the costume thing, I could see how that, you know, could be a legitimate excuse. But at the same time, I know how Deontay would react if somebody said that's the reason why they lost the fight. So no matter how much truth there is to it, make up a different lie. Like, make up a lie. Say you hurt yourself in training. Like, say you twisted your knee or something, like, the day before going through warm-ups. Say you did something else. Like, I appreciate honesty from fighters, but, like, sometimes, like, if the story is that ridiculous, go with something different.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it was a reason. Like, everything is a reason. When you are training and committing to a goal of that magnitude for months of your life, and you're training at the highest level with the highest level trainers, and doing everything focused, you know, to make that happen, everything plays a role. If your dry cleaning wasn't done on time, if you had to park in a different parking spot. I know for me, I'm a very routine person. So I like to do the same thing every morning. I get up at the same time. I leave the house at the same time. I park in the same parking spot. I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. Like, I try to minimize any kind of distraction that is going to take brain energy away from the 3-hour live show I have to do. And, you know, a lot of people who, if you have a big responsibility, like a fight against, you know, Fury, everything is going to be super hyper focused. So something like that, like, it sounds funny, like, okay, you know, his costume weighed him down, like, played a role. No, that wasn't the reason he lost the fight. But psychologically, if he felt tired and hot, and it was really hot in that arena, if he felt tired and hot and he gets into the ring and he's like, takes it all off and he's like, oh, like, you know, that kind of took something out of me, then maybe psychologically it affected him. So maybe even though he physically was capable of wearing a 40-pound, you know, diamond encrusted suit, you know, maybe physically capable of doing that, but maybe it just took it a little bit out of him from the start, and then it was just downhill from there. So I wouldn't have said it, not right after the fight, like maybe eventually, you know, after the third fight or something, I would have said, you know, that this played a role in it. But overall, I just thought it was a very out of character fight for Wilder. He never really had his legs under him. And I was very surprised that his corner threw the towel.
That was the craziest thing. I was telling Matt about how all of you UK people to start throwing beer and everything. It became a big party instantly. As soon as that towel came, beer was going left and right.
Yeah, they were trying to party from the moment they got in there. There's guys walking past with like 4 beers, like trying to balance them, drink one through the arena. It was rowdy in there. But yeah, I was surprised they threw the towel. Wilder's not really that kind of fighter. I wouldn't want them to throw the towel. And also, I think that referee is very trusted and respected. I would not think that he would allow the fight to continue if he really felt like Wilder needed to be out of it. So that's why I was kind of and his corner was on the other side of where the action was. So it's not like he was like right there. You could see, that Wilder was slipping. I just was surprised to see it. That's why I wasn't shocked that he said he was going to consider firing him, because it just seems like, not that, nobody wants to see anything bad happen in the ring. Obviously, no one's rooting for that. None of us want to see that. There's a reason why these things are in place. But I just didn't think, as bad as the fight was going for Wilder, I didn't think it was that desperate. Like, that's a very aggressive thing to do, to throw the towel. And I didn't feel like I had reached that point.
No, Joy, like, to be honest with you, like, I thought the ref stopped the fight on his own merit. Like, I thought Deontay was getting beat so bad, like, the ref stopped the fight. I didn't notice the towel was thrown in until the replay. I was like, oh, yeah, wow. Like, I thought it was a great stoppage.
A lot of people didn't see it. A lot of people in the arena didn't see it. I saw it because I just happened to be, my seat kind of faced, I was in the opposite corner of Wilder's corner.
You at that parallel corner in the right?
Yeah, so I could.
I was
above
you. That's why I could see it. I saw the trajectory. So it's like,
yeah.
What the hell? It's like, ugh.
Yeah, so I could see the towel go up, but a lot of people didn't see it. A lot of people were with you. They did not see it happen. So, yeah, but it was surprising to me. I couldn't believe it.
What do you think? I got some PBC sources, and one of them that's really close to Deontay, and kind of he's the reason I got to go to Deontay's camp. That's how tight he is with him. Said that there will be a lot of changes made outside the ring. I can't go into details. I said, what's going to happen? What happened? That's where he texts back. He said, stay tuned. There'll be a lot
Stay tuned.
Outside the ring. I can't go into detail. That was his exact text.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Look, you want to be on the same page with your corner, obviously. So I wouldn't be surprised if he let him go. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the conversations were. Obviously, I don't have sources in the camp, so I can't say what that conversation was, or if you ever even have that conversation with your corner, like, don't ever throw the towel or something, because you don't ever even want to think like that's an option. So they probably never even had that conversation, to be honest. But it's a trust thing. I just didn't think it was that desperate of a situation, but they know him better than I do, obviously. But being in the ring, the ways that fight was going, it just felt like, okay, like, let's just see a knockout. It's okay. And he'll come back and be fine. But it didn't seem like a situation where something bad was about to happen.
I want to go back to something you said a second ago when you were explaining, like, your daily routine and everything. Does that also tie into, like, a superstition for you, or is it just, like, your routine and that's what it is? If something were to go off, would that mess up your day, like, your routine? Or is there a superstition behind that as well, or is it just, that's my routine?
No superstition. So, like, Steve Jobs was notorious for this. Like, he wore the same outfit every day, that black sweater thing, and he just tried to do the same thing every day. And when you have a routine like that, you don't have to think about what to do, right? So you wake up in the morning, I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear, or I don't have to think about where my stuff is to walk out the door. It's always in the same bag, and I never unpack anything from work. So just pick my work bag up and go. I don't have to think about what I wear at work, because we have wardrobe. They put, an outfit in there, and then, I've already worked with them. So it's not like they're randomly choosing stuff I don't like. You know what I mean? I get done with hair and makeup at the same time. Like I said, I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. It's not a superstition thing. It's more about the less decisions you have to make about mundane, otherwise non-consequential things throughout the day, the more time and, like, energy you have to make big decisions and to focus on whatever it is that you need, like the task in front of you. So a lot of athletes do that. A lot of big time business people do that. Colin is a big routine person. And I just think if you are trying to be successful at something, minimizing distraction is obviously very important, but it comes down to like the simple daily routine things that you do every day. Like you are what you repeatedly do. You know what I mean? So we always, all of us, you know, want to be in better shape. But we know that if we just work out every day and eat good, we'll be in better shape. You know what I mean? But like, it's a thing, you know, you have to, if you have it as a part of your routine, people who are in great shape, working out and eating good is a part of their routine. You know what I mean? So it's like anything that you repeatedly do, your habits, what you do every day, how you approach everything every day, what you spend your energy on every day, it eventually adds up. You know, we all know if we go hit the gym for 20 minutes once a week, we're probably not going to get the results we want. But if we do 20 minutes, 6 days a week, eventually over time, it'll become part of your routine. Then you'll get in better shape. And it's the same thing like with work. To me, I just think, and it kind of started with Undisputed when I was working on Undisputed, because I'd get up so early in the morning that I just didn't want to have anything. I didn't want to be running around the house. Where's my computer? You know, where are my glasses? And so it just kind of just became part of my life routine. And the more like I try to study people around me that are really successful, you know, like Colin, Skip, Shannon, and talk to successful people, and they all kind of have that same mantra, which is to just simplify the simple things so you have more energy for the big things. So it's not superstition. It's not like if I have one piece less of bacon in the morning, I'm gonna like freak out. But it does, like, it's weird. Like when something doesn't exactly work out, like if my parking spot's not there or something, I'm like, ugh. You know, like now I got to find a different parking spot, and like I don't get crazy or anything, but it is something though. So that's why I said I understand where he's coming from. It could have played a role. It wasn't the reason he lost, but it played a role.
Switching gears, we're gonna focus on Miss Joy Taylor. How's your like? Literally, it was May 2016. How's your life changed in the last 4 years than it was before March? I said March 2016.
Wow, well, it's changed a lot.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's being in LA is obviously very different than being in Miami. I'd lived in Miami for a long time, doing radio down there. But yeah, it's been amazing being in LA and working for FS1, working with Fox Sports. Just the opportunities and, you know, experiences I've had being out here and being in the business have been incredible. But yeah, it's been awesome.
Besides working hard, I know you you got that Jamel Hill. You're part of Team Petty. Get some insight. Where'd that come from? Being on the Team Petty court.
Well, that actually came from Undisputed. So when I was doing Undisputed with Skip and Shannon gave me that nickname, Queen Petty, because we talk about LeBron, and you know, I was still being petty about LeBron because, you know, LeBron left my Heat, and it's been a rough couple of years. We're back now. We're back in the conversation now, but it's taken a little time. But yeah, so I was petty about LeBron. I'm over it now that he's in LA. I'm just enjoying watching his career. I think he should win MVP this year, just as a side note. But that's how it started. Like, I would tease Shannon about LeBron. Obviously, we all know Shannon is Shannon. Like, Shannon is obsessed with LeBron. And so that's where it came from. Shannon gave me that nickname, Queen Petty. But I am very petty.
And when he rocked with LeBron, that's how I rocked with Kobe. So I got many arguments across the nation about Kobe's not a top 10 player and what you talking about. Analytics say he's the 29th best player. I'm like, there's a thing called the eye test. I'm gonna leave it at that.
With Kobe being one of the greatest ever, or the greatest ever?
Yeah, people like, because analytically he's like 29th, 28th. He's barely in the top 30. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, analytics were whatever. Analytics are fine. Like that's great. It's important. Obviously, we do pay attention to stats, but I think Kobe was always in the conversation for the greatest player of all time. And I think if he wasn't, I mean, we forget Kobe had 5 rings. You know what I mean?
Like his career, it's like he retired before he passed away. It was like he retired in 2006, not 2016.
Right. So Kobe to me, I think the reason why people wouldn't would be resistant to saying he's the greatest, whereas, there's a stronger argument, or like a bigger group of people that would argue that LeBron is the greatest, because LeBron is so different than Michael. But we always kind of felt like Kobe was like the 1A to Michael. Like his game was so similar to Michael, but we already had Michael, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So if Kobe had a different style of game and a different way about him that wasn't so much like Michael, then I think we would have that conversation. It would be a debate of Kobe versus MJ. But because he was so similar to MJ, we just, automatically give the nod to MJ. Whereas LeBron is just such a different player than Michael completely, that it's like you can't really compare their style of play. So then you compare championships and you compare MVPs and you compare clutch moments and things like that. So to me, that's why that happened. I mean, obviously, you see who I think is the GOAT.
Next time you talk to Shannon about it, go, what we're going to do about those 6 finals losses? What we're going to do about that, Shannon?
I don't know what we're going to do about it.
And you got to be there.
But I will say, though, like at this point in LeBron's career, I didn't want to be that person. And I kind of decided this with Tom Brady too after the Atlanta Super Bowl. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy watching the GOAT play. Like I'm removing my personal feelings about what he's done to the Dolphins over the years. And, I'm removing my personal feelings about LeBron leaving the Heat. And I'm just going to enjoy watching these incredible careers for what it is, because we're going to miss them when they're gone. Like, we're going to miss Tom Brady when he's out of the league. We're going to miss LeBron James when he's gone. Like, anytime we have a legend like that leave, Kobe, even though LeBron, was obviously in the league and playing it at the highest level when Kobe left, there's a space left in the game when legends like that retire. I mean, look at Michael. Like, half the ratings just disappeared when Michael retired for good. So to me, like, I'm just enjoying them now. LeBron just had another incredible game tonight against the Pelicans. Zion had a great game. But yeah, so it's still fun to debate Shannon about it because Michael's still the GOAT, but I am enjoying watching LeBron right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people take LeBron for granted in a sense because it's like even tonight, they're playing the Pelicans and they're billing it LeBron versus Zion, when Zion's played 10 games, and they're all trying to make that comparison. Like, come on now, like LeBron's been in more All-Star games than he's played NBA games, period. And we're trying to make this comparison between the two. It's just like y'all are diminishing LeBron's greatness when you do that, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we do in sports and sports conversations. We're just always comparing everybody. That's just sort of what we did. Like, that's just the, barbershop style conversation, and that debate is just a fuel for all sports conversations. Like, we just want to argue about stuff. But I'm with you. I mean, I think it's more unfair to Zion actually than to LeBron, because we just want to, I think there's a tiny bit of we are starting to think LeBron might not be playing in a couple years. Like, where's that leave the league? And we don't really have that other star, like Kobe leaving the league. We had LeBron. We don't really feel like, if you think of like who is it? Is it Steph? Like, is Steph going to be the face of the league? Like, who's going to be the face of the league when LeBron? What he's hoping.
No, if he's healthy, Steph could be. If he comes back and picks up right where he left off, he could be for a couple of years.
That's kind of more about us, like, wanting to know who the next superstar is, and we're kind of putting that on Zion. And look, Zion hasn't played a lot of games, but he put up 30 tonight, I think. Like, he's unbelievable. And weirdly, Zion kind of represents the new wave of basketball culture, I think, perfectly, because LeBron is very polarizing, and just naturally, like, you either like LeBron or you don't like LeBron. And that's just where you fall. Like, there's very few indifferent people about LeBron, which is where I am now, but I'm also, this is my job. So I'm kind of choosing where I stand on him, But it's better to be on one side or the other. and I've been on both naturally. But Zion does not have that kind of polarizing nature to him. He doesn't have any kind of villain in him. He just is like a good energy. He plays hard. He's magnetic. But like, other than people just saying he needs to lose weight, which at this point just kind of sounds silly, he doesn't elicit that response for people, and that I think is like a good representation of where basketball culture is right now. It's changed, like there's this AAU mentality and like friends and playing together and switching teams to play with friends, and Zion kind of represents that to me, I think, naturally, just within his personality.
You think that's overblown though? Can you see him 6 years from now doing what he's doing tonight at that weight without injuries?
Here's the thing. He is 19. So his body is going to change. He's 19 and he hasn't played a full season of NBA basketball. So he is learning how to train. He's learning how to be a professional. He's learning how to eat. He's learning how to travel in the NBA, which is like nothing else. No, like baseball can't even really relate because they spend a couple days in the city. At least their bodies can kind of adjust. There's no travel like NBA travel. So all of those things factor into your body and your health. And I get it. Like, he plays with a lot of torque and power, and everyone wants to see him have a long career. But so does Zion, and so do the Pelicans. Like, everyone's on the same page. We all just want to see him win, So he'll be all right. He's had that body, and it'll change. The example that I always use is Lonzo Ball. Remember when Lonzo came in the league and everyone was freaking out? Like, he's so little, he's not going to be able to handle it. You were one of those people?
The shot is what threw me off. The size didn't bother me. The shot.
Right. But like LeVar said it, he doesn't have his ball body yet. He's still a kid. And your body changes, especially men too. Like, men grow way later than women do. So like my brother grew 2 inches in college. 2 inches. And that's not unheard of. So, and now you look at Lonzo looks like a grown man. Like, his body is completely different. He does not look the same as he did his rookie season. He's just a completely different human. And that happens because he's older now. And your body changes. And your body changes a lot from the time that you're like 19 to 23. You're going to have a completely different body, as you guys know. So I'm not freaking out about his body. I think the biggest question was, is he going to be able to handle the NBA? And is he as tough as he needs to be? And he's out there, like, he ain't scared of nobody. So, and he doesn't do it in a very, in a way that has any animosity. Like, he just powers his way through, and sometimes he gets there and sometimes he doesn't, but he doesn't play with any fear. And that's what I like about him. I mean, you're going to have injuries no matter what. Everybody gets injured. Obviously the start of his career is not what we all wanted to see, but he's playing amazing now. He's delivering on everything that we thought he would be. And everybody's just got to give it a little time. I mean, I'm a very impatient person. I'm with you. Like, I'm incredibly impatient. I have no patience. But sometimes we get too far ahead of ourselves. Like, we want to know the answer, and like, we really may not have that answer for like 3 more years.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time, like you said. Being 19, there's a reason, like, to kind of tie it back into like our main audience, like with combat sports. There's a reason we don't see very many high-level champions in their early 20s. Like, you got to fully develop. You got to get that grown man strength, as they like to call it. You got to get everything in line in that regard. But let me switch it back to you for a second again. Kind of being like in this space, in this media / journalism / space that we're all in it in different aspects. What's been the biggest challenge for you coming up and making your space in the media game?
Biggest challenge.
You got haters? Hey, my brother was a Hall of Famer. I could get a job too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to have haters. Like, if you don't have haters, to me, like, then you're not doing anything, You ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. Like,
exactly.
People hate because you're doing something. Otherwise, they wouldn't pay attention to you.
It's a lot in the combat sports world, especially for brothers. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how it goes. When you're breaking the mold, or you're doing something different, or you're having success, you're gonna have haters because people have an opinion about what you're doing. I mean, people that say that specifically, like that line, like my brother's a Hall of Famer, like, okay, like listen, I do not discredit any of the experiences that I had that from Jason playing football for 15 years. I went to every single one of his college games. So for 4 years, and or 3 years, and those experiences put me in a different space than a lot of my peers in the business. Even like I ran track and was recruited as Division I athlete in college, so I know the experience of being recruited and what it's like to play college sports on scholarship. Like every experience that you have has value to what you do, especially in this business. So yes, Jason playing professional football has helped me in my career because I know what I'm talking about, because I lived it and watched it and experienced it. And I see things in the game differently than some other people because I know the personal side of what it means to be traded or get cut or having to retire, and what it's like to transition out of sports into the regular world after you retire after playing for years. So I will never be like, yeah, that didn't help me. Of course it did. As far as him getting me a job, trust and believe. I mean, I love Jason very much, but he will tell you he can't pick up the phone and call nobody at Fox Sports and get me a job. That is just not how it works. So that doesn't really bother me because it's like, okay, you just don't know, you do not know the business at all. Like if that's your opinion, you don't know the business. It ain't that easy. And say in some fantasy world that is what happens, which it wasn't and it couldn't, I have to go be good at my job. Like nobody cares to hire somebody because of what they look like or because of who their family is or what any other reason that you could come up with that's illegitimate. If you can't do your job, if you're not good at it, if you're not good on TV, if you don't know what you're talking about, you're not keeping that job. So it doesn't really matter how you get in there. And for that matter, most people who get jobs from people that they know. Like that's all business, period. So that type of stuff doesn't bother me because it's like, I don't really have time to break all this down for you. If that's like, you think it's cool. If you think that, that's all right. I still have to go into wherever I go into, no matter who I know, and do a great job at what I do, which I can do because I went to college and graduated with a broadcasting degree after interning for several years and, graduating with honors. Like some of that may also have played a role in how I got here. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. Haters to me are not a big deal. I think it's a good thing. But the biggest challenge I think is just, it's a very competitive industry. Obviously it's an entertainment industry at the end of the day. We kind of tend to think because it's sports that it's not really like Hollywood and entertainment, but it is. Like we're the same as, E! and Extra and any other show, news, politics, whatever. Like we're all judged by ratings. So, it's being entertaining to me. I just always want to stay authentic to who I am and, what I really do and what I represent. And sometimes that can be a challenge, because you really can. Some people like, oh, keep it real. Like, yeah, okay, that's cute, but like you can't just be. Everybody just can't be crazy all the time. If you're not crazy, it's very easy, I guess. But I'm not a square, so yeah. But there's a lot of different challenges in the industry. Overall, I don't really look at them as a negative though. Like I think it all kind of shapes you and makes you better at what you do and like as a person.
What do you think about coming at people? Because like me, I'm the guy. I guess I'm on T Petty on the low. I remember slights, business deals that didn't go bad or whatever. I wait till I have my moment and I will hit somebody back. It could be something that happened 3 years before, and people in my inner circle like, do you really have to do that? There's a reason they did what they did or why something didn't happen. So I have to remind them, you made a mistake, dude, or chick, or whatever the situation is.
Yeah, we got a little bit of the same when it comes to that. I don't put energy into it. I like to say my grudges are like, they're like my pets, like I just make sure, I just always gotta make sure they're good. But yeah, I mean, look, people are going to try you. People are going to disrespect you. As far as like, you talking about like people on Twitter, or you talking like real stuff?
So half and half. Twitter don't bother me. Here's a synopsis. I go up into the combat sports world. There's not many people looking like me, being 6'5" and above and kind of do my own thing. And it's like when I first started doing this, nobody knew who I was. Now, because I do so many things out the box, you think you all that. You be running your mouth too much, but yeah, you know me. So I'll sit there and do what I do. Like the last 3 weeks, I've been in the All-Star game, Wilder Fury, went to John Jones fight, and then I'm chilling. I'm supposed to go to Vegas this week, and I chilled out. So it's like, you too can bring your black or your white ass to these events. If it was that easy, everybody be doing it. You think you all that. So it's like, you can't win for losing. I think it's funny, though, because when people didn't know me, they was not challenging me like that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's my point. Like, so if you don't, people are going to have an opinion about you if you're doing something, you know, and always people want an excuse for why they aren't successful and you are. It's obviously because of this. It's obviously because you're pretty. It's obviously because of your brother. It's obviously because whatever. Or in your case, like, you know, whatever they're saying to you. But at the end of the day, you're right. If it was so easy, everyone would do it. And you can do it too. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody is telling you no. Nobody's telling you, like, you can go do exactly what I do. And that's why I always just try to encourage people, like when they want to get in the business, but I'm very honest with young people too. Like, this is not an easy business to be in. You're not going to make any money for a long time, for a very long time. It's just the way it is. Like, the business is hard. It's a long road. People think I just poof popped up here. I've been in the business since 2006. It's 2020. That's a long time. Like, in some capacity, whether it's interning or freelancing, you know what I mean? So like, it's a grind. It's a long road to success. Every overnight success was 10 years in the making. It's not an accident. So yeah, like those kind of people, or people who talk like that, like that's what I'm saying. Like, just, you can't let it bother you, because at the end of the day, you know what you do to make your life happen and your success happen, and you know how hard it is to do that. So
it is really like a low visibility business. It's a low visibility business in the fact that like you'll pop up, like when you pop up on FS1 one day, somebody thinks like, oh, who did they find? Like, where did they find her? Like, what modeling show did they pick her up off of, like, last weekend, you know? Because the visibility is so low on the way up to the top. Like, nobody knows, like, the grind. Nobody sees that.
And then when Joy left, I remember seeing all the Twitter, why Joy leaving? Where's she going? Do people still want you on Undisputed? I do. Well, I like Jenny T, but you got that flavor, and you can check either one of them. Jen only checks. She only checks Shannon. She doesn't check Skip.
No, Jenny's doing an amazing job. I love Jenny.
She's grown on me. At first, I was like,
you get used to things, you know what I mean? So, like when I came on the Herd, that's what I got, because I hadn't been on the Herd and I'd only ever filled in, you know? So anytime anything changes, people are going to freak out, and then eventually they get used to it. It's like uniforms. Like when a sports team changes a uniform or logo, everyone freaks out, like, ah! And then 2 years later, you forgot what the other logo looked like until they bring a throwback. So it's just change. People don't like change. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm perfectly happy with what I look like, but there are whole Victoria's Secret models, okay, that are like designed by God, and they're literal goddesses walking among us. If it was only what you look like, why would I have a job? I mean, like, if that's all it took, you know what I mean? And I'm not like dissing them, obviously, like they're amazing and, you know, incredible. And I could not be a model, but that's the point though. So like, there's always something somebody's going to say. It's whatever. Just do you, be confident, work hard, success will come.
Get some insight to all the funny things you do online, like the Dance Friday bit. Like you got Chris Hayes out there twerking, and all kinds of people on the Fox line. It's funny, since I've been on it a couple of times, I know where y'all be at now, because I got my man Rob.
Yeah, Dance Party Friday is fun. I took it on a little hiatus for a little while, and then, you know, the people wanted it back, so we brought it back. It just kind of started. It just started organically, like when I first started on Undisputed, because, you know, we would get up so early for Undisputed. I get up at 3:20 in the morning, which is really just the middle of the night. And, you know, on Fridays, like, we'd be like, all right, it's Friday. You know what I mean? We just did a good week of shows. We're about to have a long, like, it would always feel kind of like a long weekend because we were done at 9. And I just like to bring the energy up. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, I'm always running around listening to music and stuff. So I would just come on set and kind of like play music and get like the crew to dance and like get everybody kind of like, you know, hyped up a little bit. Because everyone's still a little sleepy. I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. So then it just kind of became a thing every Friday where I just pick a song, and then we started doing it like with different charities and stuff, and have people send in videos and pick a song. But yeah, it's fun. It's really just like, it's just good energy. You know what I mean? We all kind of get into, you know, because we are so routined, we get into this, you know, like wheel. So it's nice to kind of break it up and, you know, let people get a little loose. And it's Friday, you know what I mean? We got jobs. We got somewhere to be. So, yeah.
Joy, we appreciate your time coming on the Slip and Dip podcast. It's been a fun
Really
conversation.
appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys having me. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep winning. And thanks for listening to the show. And check, I have a new digital show now on Caffeine on Wednesdays at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. So it's a live show on Caffeine. The app's free. Just download the Caffeine app. It'll alert you when the show is on, and you can jump in the chat. It's called Joy Chat, but we have a rolling chat, and, you know, we welcome the hate and your mentions on on the show. But it's like an interactive show. It is cool. So we just launched that 2 weeks ago. So check that out too.
Joy want all the smoke.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Cool. Well, there she is, people. Joy Taylor. Appreciate the time, and yeah, check out all of her good stuff. As one of the best around doing it, man. 100%.
Appreciate it, Joy.
Yes, I appreciate it.